Hello engineers, welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'm in Azure. Hope you all are doing good and safe wherever you are. So I am back again with a new video related to Azure DevOps. So this time I'm going to cover about variable groups. I know most of the organizations already leveraged how to use variable groups and variables inside their CI/CD pipelines. So this video is mainly for the newbies who want to switch their career into DevOps side or who are looking to complete their Azure DevOps certificate. So keeping them into mind, I just prepared this one. Hopefully, I will share some tips and tricks that will help even the senior folks also to use in their real-time troubleshooting kind of things. So let's get started. So I will share my screen. So Well, okay. So what we're gonna discuss is, as I mentioned, variable groups. So before that, what is a variable? So variable is nothing but, I mean, you can create a variable. Variable is nothing but a key value pair where you can store your secrets or connection string details or path details or some parameter details that you want to pass to multiple tasks in your pipeline. So you can define a variable and you can use it in the same pipeline basically. So all variables are strings and all are mutable. The values of the variable can be changed from run to run or job to job of your pipeline. Again, you can define your pipeline in AML or be it a classic editor. You can define the variables and use it in your pipelines. And variables, again, there are some predefined variables like related to build one or related to agent one, like build dot staging artifact directory or build dot build number, build dot build ID, or agent related one, like what is the OS of the agent that you are using inside your DevOps pipeline. If you want that details, you can definitely use the variables to pull that data inside your task and you can use them. Okay, so now we are going to cover on the variable groups. Now, what is variable group is? Variable group is, as the name says, it is a group of variables. So all the variables that you define inside your variable session in your CI/CD pipeline, you can all group them and then you can use them across the multiple pipelines. So if you let's say you are using some set of variables for one environment like dev environment or prod environment, then you can create a group of them and then you can refer that group in multiple pipelines. That way you can have a proper management of the variables as well. So again, all these are protected resources that you can enable when you define a variable. You have an option to secure those variables. You can have permissions like who want to have the read permission on that, or you want them the person has to have a read and write permission on that, or you don't want to you don't want some person to use it at all. So such kind of permissions that you can assign on your variable group as well, so that they will be like protected altogether. So let's move on to Azure portal. I will show you where exactly, sorry, not Azure portal, DevOps portal, where I will show you how you can create a variable group and where exactly you can see them. Well, I'm in my pipelines now. So under the pipeline, there is something called library. So when you go over here, you will see a session called variable groups. There is one more session called secure files. So this is very similar to your variable groups, but over here you will upload your files which has sensitive data. So for example, you are developing an mobile application and you want to deploy mobile application, then you might need certificates, you might need SSH keys. That files you can upload over here and you can refer them in multiple pipelines. Similarly, variable groups. So what I'm going to do is I will create all from the scratch, though I have created one as a part of demo earlier. Okay, so you say this over here, when you come for the first time, you will see something called create a new variable group option. So it says create group of variables that you can share across multiple pipelines, as I mentioned earlier. So you can create a group. So I'm going to create a group for my SQL deployment. I have an ARM template created. for a SQL server, and I want to deploy it to different environments like prod environment and dev environment, and I might need the same template, which is my common template, to be used across the different projects. So that can be a case. So in such scenario, I can create one variable group, and I can refer the same variable group in multiple pipelines within the same project. Project here is not the Azure DevOps project. I'm talking more on the projects that we generally own in our organizations. So let's say my variable group name, I'm giving it as SQL-DB. So where I will store my DB related variable groups. Sorry, the variables. Now over here, you see you can add some description to your to your variable groups, like variables for dev environment, something like this. And then there is an option called link secrets from the key vault. That means if you have a key vault with the secrets already defined and you want to import it over here, that is something also you can do, that I'm going to cover in my next session. So please stay tuned on that too. For now, let's go and create variables manually. So what I will do is I will give username and password for my this one SQL server. So I will show you the ARM template that I have in place. But for now, let's say I'm in Azure user, and I will add a password, and the password is password 123. Okay, so if I want to lock it, you can lock it so that no one will have access to that, and then you can save it. That's it. So you have other options like pipeline permissions, approval check. As we go along, definitely I will cover all these things. If you want something like that, please do mention in the comment section. I will try to create videos on these. I mean, explaining these features as well. Well, so I have one group for dev, right? So similarly, I want to create for prod. So I can simply do a clone instead of creating everything from the scratch. So this will create a copy of the same variable group, but now I will just refer it as prod. And let's make it as production environment, and then password. So this time I'm going to use some password that is a very strong password. So what I will do is I will generate some random password, generate password online, and there you go. Okay, so very strong password. I will copy this, and then I will use it in my pipeline now. Sorry, the variable group now. Okay, so why I am doing this, I will explain you as we go along. But just understand that we have created a password over here, and I'm going to save this. Okay, so now if you go to your library, you will be able to see two variable groups. Okay, so you have one with the DB and the other one is prod. So it was created just 2 minutes back, and the other one just now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use these variable groups inside our pipelines. So before that, I would like to show you the template that we have in place. So I have a very simple SQL, ARM template that will deploy a SQL server. So where I have defined three parameters: username, password, and a server name. Okay, username and password that we're going to use it from the variable groups, and for server name I'm going to use the variable inside the pipeline, just to show you what is the difference between the variable groups and the variable. Well, that's on that. And over here it is very we have used a SQL server provider here, and we have some firewall set on that. Default the server is open to all the endpoints. That's all good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pipeline session uh, and then create a new pipeline. I'm going with a classic editor, and then continue, go with an empty pipeline. This is all good. Okay, so the variables, as we already know, you can use variables with your build pipeline and also with the release pipeline. So you see this variable pipelines. So these are all the system defined ones. System.debug, system.defined ID, all this. there is something called variable group. If you want to link your variable group, definitely you can link it over here and make use of the variables in your build pipeline. But as we are deploying the ARM template, I'm going to use my variable group in my release pipeline. So what additional things that you can do with your build pipeline is, so I will name it as um, build, yeah, ARM templates build. Fine, this name is fine. And what I will do is, see, when you are working with ARM templates, definitely you have to validate your ARM templates before going to the deployment. That is one thing. And the other thing is, you might have already seen this ARM template TTK test, which was a very good extension that was created by Sam Cogan. So this will help you to, to run the test against your ARM templates that you have created. So what this will help you is, it helps you to analyze your ARM template that you have created, and it will check or it will validate whether your ARM template is following best practices or not. Like, what is the is it a valid schema that you are using, and are you using any hard coded values? Are you trying to output some secrets? Are you using any, the template doesn't contain blank? Okay, so not sure on this part. Maybe you can add some additional rules, like you don't want to uh, something like you don't want mm, like ideal parameters, ideal variables. So something like that. You can definitely try and explore this kit, and you will find so many things that you can do beforehand, before you go to deployment. So that is something that you can do definitely. For now, I'm not going to implement ARM TTK, but if that is something that you are that is your requirement, again, please do let me know in the comment section, so that I understand how many people are really in need of that, so that I can create one session on that too. For now, what I'm going to do is, I am very simple. I'm going to publish the again, in general, after validation, running the test cases, you will create a zip of that file, and then you will publish it to artifact, and that artifact you can use it. But I'm not going to zip it for now. I'm directly publishing it to the staging environment, not staging environment, staging directory, and then I can refer it later point. So the artifact name, I'm giving it as drop, and then over here, the file path, I'm going to use build dot staging artifact directory. Okay, well, so to this path, we're gonna push our ARM template file. So let's save and run it. Okay, so sorry for the disturbance. Okay, so it failed. Let's see what was the failed reason. Okay, sorry. So sorry. The name was there was a spell error. So let's just go under correct it, edit, effect. Yeah. So let's just save and queue it now. Let's just give a minute over here, and then you will see the artifact over here. Okay. So in the interest of time, I'm going to show you the release pipeline also. Maybe we can create one pipeline also. Then we will see how. So sorry. Oh, it failed again. Let's see the reason. path does not exist. Strange. I think something was I'm misspelling. So let me just take one example from here and then. So sorry. This was very much blunder. uh, okay, so maybe I can take this itself. So this is the pipeline. If you see this, this is the artifact. So you have to refer to the file that you want to pull out. So if you look at this, inside my ARM template, I'm using SQL template, right? So that is something that I have to point to. Instead, I was pointing to the um, file where I want to drop. That is not the right thing. So you have to point to the file that you want to zip it or publish it. So this is the file that I want to zip it. And when you run this, it will drop to a location called drop. You can see the runs also. If you go over here and you will see the publish. So when you come down, you will see something called drop. Inside that, you will have your SQL template. Now this drop I'm going to use in my release pipelines. So I can go to releases and then create a new release. Sorry, over here, create a new release pipeline. I will go with an empty one and blank and just give some name for this. So I will give it as ARM template release. Well, so staging environments, I'm going to create two environments. One is dev and the other one I'm going to clone it, but I am going to run it parallelly. So I want it to be after release. See, in general, if you, I'm just making it as production. So in general, what we will follow is you will have separate pipelines for dev and prod, or else you will have a dev pipeline and then you will have an approval process for your production deployment. So that is something also you can do, or else that's the best practice that we generally make. But the idea over here is how we use the variable groups, right? So that is why I'm not following that for now. So you can go inside this and then here over here you can refer to the variables. But before that, I'm going to add an task to this. Maybe I have to do okay. Fine. So I'm going to deploy ARM template, and then I have to refer to the very particular template that is in my artifact. But before that, I have to select the connection string. This is what service connection that we call it in DevOps. So I have created one already. I have explained this in my earlier videos also how to create them. But if you still have questions, please put a comment in the comment section. I can definitely help you on that too. So over here, you will select the subscription. You will get a list of subscriptions on which this SPN has proper RBAC rules. So you will see that, and then you will have a resource group list. So for the demo purpose, I have created two resource groups, one with SQL Server Dev and the other one with SQL Server Prod. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deploy the SQL Server on both the environments, right? So I will use azrg-SQL Server -dev. I hope that's the name. Yeah, so that's the dev. And then I have to choose which location is this. So this will be my resource group location. So Central India is fine. And I have to refer the template. Okay, no artifact because I haven't chose the artifact over here. So I chose one. And so I'm going to use this one and then remove the alias. There we go. And add it so that I can now refer to that ARM template. Yeah, so I can go over here and then inside drop, I'm going to refer that JSON. There we go. If you have a template file already defined with the hard-coded values, you might be using key vaults, you can definitely use it, or else we can override the parameters. So as I have shown you earlier, we have three parameters, maybe one is resource group name, and then I have to use the variable, right? So I can use variable. So variable name is we have given the variable names, right, in your variable group. So I'm going to refer them here, username for username, and then okay. So better I go and copy the exact name so that I don't miss anything. Okay, so one is username. So it has to be username space, and the this name is your variable name that we can definitely check back again. And then the second parameter is password, followed by password, and then you will define one more parameter, that is server name. So I'm just copying it over here, and then I'm going to refer the parameter from the parameter section. So server name. Okay, so these values will be coming from the variables, right? So I have to link a variable group over here from where I can get this where username and password, and I have to create new variable for my server name. So I will come here and I will add a new server name. So if you want to include the server name in the variable groups, definitely that is an option that you can do. But for now, I'm good with this. So I am in Azure hyphen SQL SVR hyphen DV. So this is for dev environment. So I will choose my scope to be dev. Well, and then I want one for the this one production also. So I will use the same server name, and this one naming it as IamInAzure hyphen SQL SVR hyphen prod. Okay, so I'm going to use this for production. This name for the production. So I am scoping it to production so that whenever I call the very particular stage, at that particular stage, this variable will be used. So while executing dev stage, this will be referred, and while executing prod, this will be referred. And then I have to link a group also. So again, for groups or group linking also, you do the same thing. You can group it at release level if you want to use the same across the stages, or else if you want to use one particular group for one stage, definitely you can do something like this. So this is now scoped at dev. So whatever the parameters that you defined or variables that you defined over here, they will be very specific to that particular stage. Similarly, I will use for prod also. So this is for production stage. So I am done with linking. So the names, password, username all looks good to me. So what I will do, I will come here and I will check what, okay, everything looks good to me. Now what I will do, I have to go for production. I have to create the same things. So instead of doing it manually, what I will do is I will just delete this, and I can clone this again so that everything comes up very fresh. So instead of uh, after stage, I will do it as after release only. Okay. So see, if you look at this again, there are multiple options how you want to do this. Like if you want to schedule it, you can do that. If you want some approvals before the deployment, you can also enable that. There are multiple things that you can do. Even after the post deployment also, if you want to do something after the deployment, you can also do those things also. There are a number of features that are available right now. So I will just change this name to production, PROD production. Well, and now I can see the task. So instead of this resource group, I will refer to the prod resource group. So prod, and then rest all the things remain same. See, remain same in the sense because these are the variables that we have defined, and they are scoped at their individual stages, right? So we don't need to worry on that part. Well, so we are good on this part. So what I will do, I will save this, and then I can create a release. So a release started. So as soon as the deployment is done, we will be able to see the our resources inside our Azure. Okay, both of them queued, but this took precedence over the dev environment. Well, now if you open the logs, this is something most of you already know. But if you look at this, when you look at the ARM template deployment, you will be able to see the deployment name over here. So you can take this, and then you can see what is actually happening inside your Azure portal also. Sometimes you may see some failures, right? So what is the reason for failure also? You can come to know when you get this deployment and check it in the Azure portal. So that is something that I will show. If you go over here and prod and then deployments, then you can search with a very specific name. So this is the deployment that was going on. You can see what are the things happening. So what are the input parameters? If you define any output parameters, you will be able to see it, and the template that was used, all that you can see it over here. Password you are not able to see because it was defined as a secure string in my ARM template, so that is why you are not able to see it over here. Okay, so let's see, is it still going on? Yeah. Okay, server is created, and the child resource, that is, we have firewall settings as well, right? So that was also deployed. So this was deployed to prod, and I believe you will see the same over here. Refresh. Okay, so this is done. Now I believe the dev will start in a minute. Okay, waiting the request to be queued. Okay, it started, in progress. Now you will see something similar in your dev environment also. So ARM template deployment started. You will have a deployment name for your dev as well. So you can go to your dev resource group and you can see that too if you want. But for now, let's go on to production and see your server. Okay, so this was a mistake over here. If you see, this got created with a DV. So I believe we might have selected a wrong thing over here, or else we might have um, missed to use the right thing. Let's see. Let's go to edit and see task, and over here we are referring username, password, and server name. Server name is fine, and this is for production release, right? So when you go to variables, okay, so over here you have given similar names. That is why the issue. So you have to give prod, and then let's save this. I believe the pipeline will fail definitely because uh, you won't be able to create 1 minute. Let me go to release. Yeah, dev one failed. Now, if you want to see the reason, you can definitely go here. It says the name already exists because we are using the same name. That's what the problem happened. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to redeploy this. Now, if I want to redeploy this, maybe I can just delete this. It was my mistake that I should have be a bit cautious. Well, okay, so this is going to be deleted. Okay, now I'm going to redeploy this. I can just select both of them. If I want to add any comments, then definitely I can add it and then redeploy. Okay, when you go to logs, it says this is attempt 2. You can see the attempt 1 also. If something goes wrong, you can see it in attempt 1. But my attempt was 1 was went well, so you are not seeing it. But if you go to dev, okay, this time dev started first, interestingly. Okay, so you see this attempt 1 was failed. So you can see that too here. Well, okay, so let me see, it was deleted. Yeah, it was deleted. Hopefully our deployment will go so smooth this time. Okay, well, let this be go. In the meantime, something interesting that I noticed earlier was, see, when let's say this ARM template was created, sorry, this release was created by someone else, and the variable group was also created by someone else. Let's say if you want to know the SQL Server password, the way how can you know is you can go to variable groups and you can come here. I did variable group. Oh God, unfortunately, I haven't used it So this is one more problem I did. I should have ideally added one more variable group for my production. Link it and save this. Cool. And maybe I will just cancel this. Maybe I can abort this. Okay, and maybe I have to go inside this and then cancel this first. Okay, this was deployed, but I don't want to deploy the production because I have to use the production related variable groups, right? So that is why. Well, this is okay. Maybe I can cancel this one too. Okay, it is going to succeed its state. Let it be. Meanwhile, maybe I can just go and create one more release. So sorry for the confusion. Okay, so let it run and hopefully this will use the proper things. But the interesting point that I was trying to explain is when you go to edit and if you want to know the password of SQL Server, right now if you go to variables and variable groups and if you want to look at this password, right now there is no way how you can look at the password. Okay, so the other way is when you go to variables also, variable groups, I mean, here also if you come here and if you try to unlock this, you will not be able to see the password. So the easiest way to know this password is you can create a dummy pipeline, something like this. I'm not going to change anything. And then I have created this part, so I can just go over here. Yeah, leave. Okay. So what you can do is you can refer that variable group, whatever you want to use. So how you can do that? You can just come here and you can link a variable group. Now I want to know the production one. Then I can just come here and link this. This is a build pipeline, not a release pipeline. So you will not see the stages over here. And then in the task, you can create something called PowerShell script first. So what you will do is you will write a simple script which will take your password and write it to a file in the staging directory. And the file name, I put it as secret.txt. And this file, I'm going to publish it to artifact or to a drop location. So once this is published, you can go to this drop location and you can download and you can see that password. So what we can do is save this and queue this. Now let it run. When you go and check, you will see the pipeline running over here. Yeah, I hope I am explaining to the better extent that I can do. But if you still feel that you need some improvement in me, or you need some new topics, or you need some kind of help, or you don't understand that what I'm trying to explain, please let me know in the comment section. I will definitely try to uh, meet your expectations, be it in the way I teach now, or be it bringing a new topic to the table and explaining you that. And if you feel I'm doing a better job or good job, please feel free to, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And please hit on the bell icon so that whenever I post a new video, you will get a notification. Okay. So I believe the other pipelines, my release pipelines are running, right? So it is taking some time. So it was still in queue stage. So let me go and see what is happening with my release. Okay, so in my release pipeline, you see that dev is done. Now production is running, and yeah, production is also done. Now what you can do, you can go to that particular resource groups and you will be able to see the resources. You see this, IamInAzure, this is for dev, and for prod, you will see the prod one. Okay, so this is how you can refer to the variable groups in your CI/CD pipelines. I hope this will definitely help you um, either in your certification or in your learning part. And let's wait for this deployment, this build also. Okay, so the build is done and you have a publish over here. You can go to drops, and when you download this select.txt and when you open this, you will see the password. Okay, so if you remember, I was using a random password earlier to generate, I mean, to use for the secret, right? Why I was doing is I want to show you this part. Like if you don't know something, you can definitely create something, a dummy pipeline, and you can use this. So I'm going to open this file and I will show you that this is the same password that was generated from the random generated. Okay, so it says the value is VTFEN, something that starts with VTFEN. So when you go to the password generator, you will see the same thing. Okay, so that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoy the content. And as I mentioned, please feel free to share your comments or questions, or if you want me to come up with a new topic, so please feel free to drop in the comment section. And thanks for watching the video. Bye.